All right. We're getting this shit worked out. So I really wanted to be on TikTok. I don't know how to make it happen. If we give billionaires even more power, capitalism will work gooder. Also, I've had a dude trolling me on my YouTube channel. It is possible that he will Discord or call in. Let's hope that happens. Oh, I'm not even in the right category on Twitch. I'm all discombobulated. Head on over to the politics where there's 159 viewers total in the category, but I want all 159 of those viewers to come to my fucking channel. Seriously, the politics channel is dead. I should get the fuck out of it. Dominate it or get the fuck out of it. I don't know which. Shelly, good evening. Curiouser also brought me caramel eggs and Reese eggs, so Curiouser is awesome. Oh, yeah, let me finish doing the news. Hey, did you know that a tornado touched down in northern Kentucky last week? Nobody knew about it. Went completely unnoticed. Why? I think it has a little something to do with the federal money being cut to forecasters, to NOAA. Measles are continuing to spread. We're going to hear from Bernie Sanders on why he is doing these rallies that are drawing record crowds, bigger than his 2016 or 2020 presidential runs. This man is drawing crowds. I'm going to tell you about how Trump extorted a law firm that is now apparently caved, and this does not bode well for the rule of law in our country. The Pope has made an appearance. There was a mass shooting in Mexico. I got body cam footage of when they discovered Gene Hackman. 4 different cops or former cops offed themselves in the last couple of weeks. A Rhode Island woman that went missing has been found and her caregiver charged. A missing California woman was arrested in Miami. And an animal shelter worker has been arrested because she was selling toes that had been regurgitated by puppies. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. I promise you the most absurd news, politics, and current events on the planet. What color Arafat? You get to pick the bandana color. What would you like it? Toes. I'm trying to think if I have multiple colors of red. I do. I have a darker maroon red, or I have like a bright fire truck red. Which would you like? I may have other colors of red. Many colors of the rainbow. The maroon. All right. Love it. I feel like you're going with what matches my shirt. Usually people go with the opposite and go with what clashes with what I'm wearing. Boom. Looking snazzy too. Thank you. I like this color. I like both the maroon and the gold one that I just had on. I love both of those. I had the gold one on yesterday because I think I had my Perfect Circle shirt on. So I was just wearing it because it was just already out. But you requested the maroon. I have absolutely wore this maroon bandana with this shirt. Yeah, I'm not getting ads when I'm in politics, am I? What if I went talk shows and podcasts? Let's try talk shows and podcasts out. With the argue with me about, because if I do I've got just chatting set to where it nukes my VODs, right? So when we're like watching TV shows or listening to music or something, I'm in just chatting, it nukes my VOD automatically. It is available in podcast form. I put this shit up so everybody in the world can see it. As many people as possible. All right, let's get it started with the news. Canada calling a snap election. Good evening, Princess Kimberly. We are going to be seeing voting in Canada, within the next month and a half? I don't know what the time frame is. Hopefully this news story will tell us.
I've just requested that the Governor General dissolve Parliament and call an election for April 28th. And she has agreed. We are facing the most significant crisis of our lifetimes because of President Trump's unjustified trade actions and his threats to our sovereignty. Our response must be to build a strong economy and a more secure Canada. President Trump claims that Canada isn't a real country.
He's kind of not, you know.
So America can own us. We will not let that happen. We're over the shock of the betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons. We have to look out for ourselves. We have to look out for each other.
You know, I've never seen Iron Man. I've heard it's a good movie. I've been open to watching Iron Man, but I've never actually watched it. What is real? Good burgers. It doesn't even have its own cheeseburgers. They got Mounties, though. That's something. They got cheese curds. They really like cheese curds in Canada. They love poutine. They put gravy on shit that shouldn't have gravy. It's unnatural. Israeli airstrikes are apparently pushing the Gazan death toll past 50,000.
Video obtained by Reuters showed the moment an Israeli airstrike hit Gaza City on Sunday, as officials said dozens were killed by strikes across the enclave, including a Hamas political leader. According to Gaza's health ministry, the death toll since the beginning of the war has now surpassed 50,000 Palestinians. In southern Gaza's Khan Yunis, a funeral was held for Hamas official Salah al-Badawil and his wife. They were killed in an Israeli airstrike on the city, according to officials of the militant group. Badawil was a member of Hamas's decision-making political office and had taken up roles such as leading the group's delegation for indirect truce talks with Israel in 2009. A large crater was left in the ground after the airstrike officials said had killed him. The Israeli military confirmed in a statement on Sunday that it had killed Badawil. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said the main aim of the war is to destroy Hamas as a military and governing entity, and that the aim of its new military campaign in Gaza, which began on Tuesday...
And all you're seeing is little kids! Little kids around a fucking crater in the ground where they just bombed the shit out of a town. I don't see no goddamn terrorists, I see kids.
To force the group to give up all remaining hostages. Hamas has accused Israel of breaking the terms of the January ceasefire agreement by refusing to start second phase talks for a permanent end to the war.
Get away from my Reese
Said it
eggs.
is still willing to negotiate and was studying bridging proposals from the United States. On Sunday, Gaza's residents reported an escalation in Israel's military action. Families mourned the loss of their loved ones and pleaded for an end to the war. Rights groups are also warning of a renewed risk of famine in the enclave after Israel began blocking the entry of goods into Gaza again since March the 2nd. We got up in a panic and found ourselves covered in rubble, filth and dust, this woman said. The young men came and pulled out children from under the rubble. Little children, what was their fault?
Children!
Added. While this man said he just wants to live with his family in peace. Brothers and sisters, the whole world, listen to us. We don't want wars, he said. We want to live like the rest of the world.
Unfortunately, you were born in the wrong part of the world, where Israelis feel they have claim to it. A fire broke out after Israel hits the Nasir hospital in Khan Yunis. Just straight up attacking hospitals. Good job, Israel. What you're doing is making terrorists. You're not killing terrorists. A lot of people could consider this a terroristic act. Striking a hospital. Do believe it's a war crime.
تعال.
What ceasefire? And Israel is going to suffer no consequences for breaking the ceasefire. They knew they could get away with it. And supposedly Trump was going to bring us peace, right? That's what the right-wingers kept saying to me. They voted for peace. Let's bring it back home. Let's bring it back to domestic terrorism. Homeland Security revokes the temporary status of 532,000 migrants who were here on temporary status from Cuba, Haitians, Nicaraguans.
Back home now, the Department of Homeland Security is revoking legal protections for hundreds of thousands of migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. The order applies to about 532,000 people who came to America under the Humanitarian Parole Program. That program gave people financial sponsors and 2-year permits to live and work in the U.S. However, starting April 24th, those migrants will no longer have legal status and could be deported. President Trump said the program was being abused. Activists are already suing the Trump administration for that policy.
The IRS says it is set to share data with ICE, which is, you keep using the word chilling. The idea that they're going to be looking at our financial migrants pay taxes while they're here and get no benefits from it. So the IRS knows where they are. These agencies have never shared that data with ICE, which, you know, hasn't existed 20 years, something like that. 22 years. I mean, like, I'm far older than ICE. It is bullshit. Abolish ICE.
May soon be turning over information on suspected undocumented immigrants to ICE officials. The Washington
It's a rogue
Post says
agency.
The two agencies are close to a data sharing agreement in support of the government's mass deportation campaign. It would reportedly allow the IRS to use tax data to confirm the names and addresses of people suspected of being in the country illegally. The IRS allows immigrants without legal status to file income tax returns with individual tax numbers. According to new research, though, undocumented immigrants contributed to more than $25 billion in Social Security taxes in 2022.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe
Hey, Mark Brown.
button for our YouTube.
Doing a hell of a job, my man. I appreciate you every time you pop up. Representative Jim Hines was on Face the Nation today to talk about Trump's Venezuelan
Democrat on the House
deportations.
Intelligence Committee, Connecticut Congressman Jim Hines. He joins us this morning from Greenwich. Good morning to you. I want to jump right into it on the conversation about this Venezuelan gang. You have said some of your fellow Democrats have been too quick to use the term constitutional crisis. But because of the use of the Alien Enemies Act and this gang, you have started to become concerned that's where we are. Can you explain that?
Yeah, that's right, Margaret, and thanks for having me. You know, constitutional crisis is a sort of broadly used term. Lots of people have different definitions for it. It's a lot of stuff you don't like. I'll tell you what I know is a constitutional crisis. If the President of the United States decides to ignore the orders of a court. We have not seen that since Andrew Jackson did that in 1834. When that happens, you have a supine, on its back Congress of the United States, completely beholden to the president, not acting as a check.
Warlord, welcome in. Good evening, my friend. Thank you for the resub. I do believe you are the longest running sub to the channel.
And if the president says, I don't care what the courts say, which, by the way, he has not said, but which Tom Homan, his czar for deportations, has said, now you have a full-blown...
You'll get a Canada election stream when Canada actually has the elections, about a month from now.
How this administration goes
Give or
after the
take.
many judges and the many courts, many of these judges appointed by Republican presidents who are stopping the wild and illegal actions of this administration. We're going to see whether we are in a true, Jacksonian constitutional crisis.
Because of your role on the Intelligence Committee, I know you have some visibility into the assessments of U.S. intelligence. The New York Times reported that the intelligence community said with moderate confidence that the gang, TDA, that we've been talking about, is not directed by the Venezuelan government. However, the National Security Advisor just told us on this program TDA is acting as a proxy of the Venezuelan government.
What?
Why does that distinction matter?
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter, and I'll come back around to that. But look, what people worry about is that this administration acts with a unbelievable kind of cocktail of incompetence and illegality. When you fire all of
That's
the
one way to
people
put
in the
it.
Department of Energy who look after our nuclear weapons and then say, oopsie, we need to hire you back, that's incompetence. I listened to Mike. Mike is a friend of mine. I have respect for Mike, but what he did was dodge your question. I'm not a lawyer, but I can read the first paragraph of the Aliens Enemy Act, which says very clearly that the authority that this administration claims is dependent on a declaration of war, not on acting as a proxy. So Mike distorted the law, and I read the New York Times article too. I haven't seen specific intelligence about whether there's any connection whatsoever between Venezuela and the TDA gang, but you're right. The New York Times, by the way, I'll get an answer on this tomorrow, and I'm going to have some questions for Mike. The New York Times, of course, reported that
Get some answers.
The community believes that there's not a meaningful connection between Venezuela and the TDA gang. So again, it's a bizarre combination of acting incompetently, because maybe there's a Venezuelan hairdresser, a gay Venezuelan hairdresser with no connection to TDA, and if he's in this country illegally, fine, deport him. But to do it in this way under authorities that are not legal is not the way to do this.
You're referring there to some reporting in Time magazine about what happened to some of.
And he was here legally, wasn't he?
Particular detainee. On Friday, the Justice Department announced a criminal investigation into what they described as the leak of classified intelligence about this group, TDA. The Deputy Attorney General said they won't tolerate politically motivated efforts by the deep state to undercut President Trump's agenda by leaking false information to the New York Times.
Deep state.
Do you have any concern, or is there concern within the intelligence community about these leaks?
There's always concerns about leaks, Margaret, and as ranking member of the Intelligence Committee, I don't care who a leak benefits, whether it benefits Joe Biden or Donald Trump or whatever. They are not okay. They are violations of the law. It's very interesting, though, that characterization that you just...
I know of a leak that would benefit me, and that'd be taking a leak in Dan Crenshaw's eye pussy. Sorry, it was kind of a serious topic, and I kind of forced that one. My apologies.
Read that we will not tolerate
leaks that
are inconsistent with President Trump's agenda. And this gets at one of my worst fears with respect to the national security apparatus under Donald Trump. Everything is about Donald Trump, right? And where I work, inside and overseeing the intelligence community, it is absolutely essential that the intelligence community be about one thing and one thing only, which is giving Donald Trump and other national leaders unvarnished, unbiased advice. And if this is all about serving the president's agenda, that is a notion that is completely at odds with what the intelligence community and what we spend $90 billion on, making sure that policymakers, the president chief amongst them, has good information.
I was listening to a town hall that you did this past Thursday in Connecticut, and you were asked who the leader of the Democratic Party is. You threw out some of the sort of known entities, governors out there, but you said, while the party is not leaderless, Hakeem Jeffries is young and untested, and Leader Schumer is not a wartime president. Do you think that your party can afford to stay the course with the existing leadership they have?
Margaret, I think we can do a lot better job with the leadership that we had. What I was acknowledging in that town hall meeting, and I will tell you, I've seen a lot of town hall meetings. I saw Chuck Grassley's town hall meeting. I saw my colleagues from Wyoming's, Ruby Red Wyoming's time in the barrel, and people are outraged. They're outraged mainly, by the way, because they're coming to understand what Medicaid cuts are going to look like for them, what it means to obliterate programs that so much of the country, 70 million people in the case of Medicaid, rely on. So there's an immense amount of anger. What I do know is that it was not a good look for the two congressional Democratic leaders to be on opposite sides of the continuing resolution. That created a great deal of agita out there, and legitimately so. So I am quite certain that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer have learned from this experience and are going to, at a minimum, be unified going forward here.
We will see. Congressman Jim Himes will be watching you in that worldwide threat briefing that'll be happening this coming week.
So this is the first of a couple different stories where Trump is extorting different entities, the first entity being Columbia University, caving to Trump's demands.
The university agreed to some demands following an ultimatum from the Trump administration. The Manhattan-based Ivy League school was at risk of losing hundreds of millions of dollars if it did not comply. The concessions coming amid accusations that Columbia tolerated anti-Semitism when pro-Palestinian protests disrupted campus life. Fox News' correspondent C.B. Cotton has more from New York. Columbia
Columbia University gave in to a set of partial demands from the Trump administration on Friday. The school will implement new rules regarding how it supervises and oversees certain programs in order to restore crucial federal funding. The Trump administration pulling $400 million in research grants, among other funding from Columbia earlier this month, accusing the university of tolerating anti-Semitism after large pro-Palestinian protests began to spread across its campus last year.
Probably a lot of that $400 million goes to cancer research or Alzheimer's research. A lot of it may go to helping educate students, and it'll hurt the 98% of students who never protested, even the Jewish students who might have been picked on.
Part of the
What about the Jewish students that protested?
Include putting its Middle Eastern Studies Department under new supervision, tightening demonstration restrictions, including banning students from protesting in academic buildings, and adopting a new definition of anti-Semitism.
It's definitely an unprecedented time as far as federal reach into what these universities are doing.
Education.
We'll have a protest zone where nobody can
a precedent that the federal government can micromanage
see
any
you.
University.
You're all in a corner somewhere.
Calling the Trump administration's demands a, quote, attack on academic freedom. But some disagree.
I think they are on firm legal ground, and that's probably why the university caved to their demands.
Protesters here are calling for a campus walkout on Monday in outrage to the new reforms. At Columbia University, CB Cotton, Fox News.
They were just extorting the university to curb free speech, and everybody should be outraged about that. Here's the second story of Trump extorting people to get what he wants, instructing the Attorney General to report what he calls frivolous lawsuits, this in the face of his attack on the Paul Weiss law firm.
Turning to politics now, and the White House taking aim at the U.S. legal system. President Trump directing his attorney general to take action against attorneys and law firms that engage in what he calls frivolous and unreasonable litigation against the federal government. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang reports from Washington.
Tonight, President Trump escalating his threats towards the U.S. legal system, directing Attorney General Pam Bondi to punish law firms engaging in frivolous, unreasonable, and vexatious litigation against the United States, vowing to use the full power of the Justice Department, including imposing sanctions and revoking security clearances. The White House memo saying lawyers and law firms that engage in actions that violate the laws of the United States or rules governing attorney conduct must be efficiently and effectively held accountable. The president also ordering his Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to find immigration lawyers they accuse of coaching clients to file dishonest asylum claims to circumvent immigration policies. All of this apparently part of a
That's insane.
Retribution against lawyers and judges who've opposed Trump personally or politically. Trump retaliating against law firms that have worked on cases
So doing the exact thing that he accused the Democrats of doing, weaponizing the Justice Department. Go fuck yourself.
Against him, revoking security clearances for lawyers at Paul Weiss, Perkins Coie, and Covington and Burling, rescinding his executive order targeting Paul Weiss this week only after Trump says the firm promised to abandon its diversity policies and give $40 million in free legal work for administration initiatives.
Extorted $40 million in free legal work out of a private law firm. Good God.
This comes as Trump calls for the impeachment of U.S. District Judge James Boasberg, who ordered the administration to halt the deportation of hundreds of Venezuelans accused of being members of the Tren de Aragua gang. But the flights did not stop, sparking a tense standoff between the president and the courts. Trump taking to Fox News.
Many people have called for his impeachment, the impeachment of this judge.
Many people. People are saying.
And when on Monday, the Trump administration is expected to be in the appeals court to try and get Judge Boasberg thrown off the case, they claim that he is biased. And tonight, a Trump administration official tells me that deportation flights continue nearly every day, with 21 migrants sent to Guantanamo Bay this week. Whit.
Selena Wang at the White House. Thank you.
Oh, we're great. We're great. I'm fascinated by this Paul Weiss case. Let's delve deeper into it, we're going to go to PBS for a more in-depth breakdown.
President Trump yesterday rescinded an executive order targeting prominent law firm Paul Weiss after that firm agreed to drop its DEI policies and to provide $40 million in pro bono work for Trump-aligned causes. It's the latest in a series of punitive actions the president has taken targeting the legal community. John Yang has more.
And he's just going to get away with it.
Firms that either were connected to the criminal cases brought against him or represented Democrats, including Hillary Clinton. The orders revoked security clearances and banned their employees from government buildings. The Paul Weiss deal came after a federal judge blocked a similar order against another big firm, Perkins Coie, saying it's likely unconstitutional. Last week, hundreds of associates at big firms signed an open letter calling on their employers to defend their
maybe we'll be great tomorrow
profession and condemn
what
they called Mr. Trump's intimidation tactics. Rachel Cohen was an organizer of that letter, and yesterday she quit her job as a financial associate at Skadden, which is one of the highest-grossing law firms in the country. Rachel, yesterday when you quit, you shared your resignation letter with your colleagues. And I want to read a little bit of it.
As I read this yesterday on the toilet.
A moment that demands urgency. Whether we are failing to meet it because we are unprepared or because we don't wish to is irrelevant to me and to the world, where the outcome is the same. What was it about this moment that led you to quit?
Well, I've been working on a lot of advocacy that did not require me to quit a job that I enjoyed and was very good at. But the Paul Weiss decision to capitulate to the Trump administration's attempted coup, because that is what we are experiencing right now, the president issuing an executive order over
I don't think it's attempted
a
anymore.
Restraining order issued by a district court judge on a near identical executive order issued merely a week before is a blatant disregard for rule of law. And it has been a blatant disregard for rule of law, and it's been building and obvious over the last several weeks. But Paul Weiss's decision to give in to the Trump administration, and particularly what they chose to give him, made clear to me that the industry is not prepared to meet it. And if the industry is not prepared to meet it, then I cannot work within it.
Rachel, what is it about what Paul Weiss agreed to that you find so objectionable?
There's two things that Paul Weiss agreed to do that are being widely reported on that are incredibly troubling. The first is their agreement to provide $40 million in pro bono legal services to the Trump administration, including to support its task force to combat anti-Semitism. It is challenging to come onto TV and say that that's a bad thing, because of course we want to combat anti-Semitism. But that task force played an integral role and will continue to play an integral role in the type of actions that we've seen very recently in terms of storming of Columbia University dorms, removing people who have legal status in this country and holding them in indefinite ICE detention for exercising free speech rights last year. So that's item number one. Item number two is their willingness to collaborate with the Trump administration to examine their hiring policies related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's not just a go forward commitment. They've also committed to working with the Trump administration to examine their past hiring practices, which is particularly troubling because Paul Weiss, until yesterday, was a place that recruited very, very actively under a notion of diversity. They targeted Black law students groups and convinced them that if they came to Paul Weiss, they had a real chance at advancement. And so they are now taking those associates and throwing them under the bus. That troubled me in particular because there are 20 firms that have received an EEOC demand letter from the Trump administration related to their hiring practices and demanding personal information about applicants from 2019 on. That information includes name, telephone number, email address, and it focuses heavily on SEO fellow applicants and 1L Diversity Scholar or Diversity Scholarship applicants broadly. Those are programs that existed across the industry until extremely recently, and a strong pipeline for non-white associates to come into the industry. EEOC demand letters are not legally binding. You do not have to respond to them. And what prompted my ultimate resignation was that I am at one of the firms that received a demand letter, and they refused to confirm that they will not be cooperating and providing that information. I cannot allow an employer that I continue to dedicate time and effort and energy to throw my colleagues of color under the bus.
What's your concern if more big firms try
capitulate,
to as
they're going to,
Weiss did, rather than stand up and challenge it as Perkins Coie is doing?
I think that my concern is that the coup that is ongoing will be done.
We'll talk about the role these big law firms play in sort of a watchdog role to government.
Listen, I am not coming on here and saying that big law firms are going to be the front lines of the defense of justice in this country.
They won't.
But they are a powerful resource for the public interest attorneys and organizations that are on the front lines of challenging Trump administration actions, particularly those that are unconstitutional. The Trump administration is waging a campaign to see what the legal industry will put up with, because it's a multi-pronged attack on the court system broadly as the only branch of government that currently might have any power to check him when he oversteps his authority. And so if big law firms are unwilling to throw those resources behind the public interest attorneys doing the work, which was an important part of challenging things like the Muslim ban in 2016, there is no rule of law.
Since you went public with your resignation yesterday, what have you been hearing from your counterparts at other firms and your colleagues at Skadden?
Gratitude.
Have associates at Paul Weiss reached out to you about anything?
They have. I had a couple that reached out today and said, how do I do that?
No, how do I quit?
How do I quit the way that you did? And I say, the email is online.
You've set the model for them, in other words.
I hope so. But more than that, I'm hoping that the associates do not have to do that, and that their employers, the partnerships, the people that should actually be defending the rule of law in this way will step up, because it is not yet too late.
That profit motive, though, we're talking about big law firms.
Thank you.
It's always the capitalistic incentive. Good evening, Claudius. Bound. T-minus, welcome in, my friend. T-minus, that's good cop, bad cop. Biden, Trump, good cop, bad cop to the capitalist class. That's a great analogy. Bound, I'm not sure that Biden pulled Trump's clearances, actually. I don't remember that, but it would make sense if he did. It would be 100% justifiable since, you know, the insurrection. He was found with being found with the classified documents that actually happened in 2022. So I'm not sure on that one. I can't remember off the top of my head because I smoke a lot of pot. Light one up, tip one back. Motherfucker, put Twitch on your TV and then comment on your phone. You can turn the video down so it doesn't use your fucking data. That's why when we're watching wrestling, why don't you go in your bedroom, watch wrestling with us? Put it up on your TV, son. It's a multi-pronged assault on our judicial branch. The Secretary of Defense now lashing out against judges who are ruling against his fucking belligerence. Pete Hegseth fires back at a judge who used his words against him. What a headline. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has criticized a federal judge who blocked the Donald Trump administration in its attempts to ban transgender people from serving in the military. Hegseth referred to U.S. District Judge Anna Reyes as a commander in a social media post and suggested she visit military bases since she is now a top military planner. Newsweek has contacted the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia for comment via email outside regular working hours. President Donald Trump risks a potential constitutional confrontation amid rising tensions between the administration and members of the federal judiciary who have issued rulings or spoken out against executive orders. Reyes, who was nominated to the bench by former President Joe Biden, noted in her ruling that Hegseth's social media posts suggesting that transgender Americans can be banned from serving in the military without an exemption contradicted the administration's stated position. Trump signed an executive order prioritizing military excellence and readiness in January, which affects transgender people who wish to serve the armed forces. The order does not use the word transgender, but suggests that those expressing a false gender identity cannot meet the rigorous standards necessary for military service. Reyes ruled on March 18th that the order may violate the constitutional right to equal protection and could hinder military readiness. In a Saturday post on Twitter, Hegseth mockingly referred to Reyes using she-they pronouns and suggested she should now be responsible for making decisions about how to run the military and prepare for warfare. The Pentagon, no, motherfucker. Her job is to rule on what's legal and what's not. When she rules that you've done something illegal, you follow her ruling. That's how this works. The Pentagon previously argued that the transgender ban was not discriminatory, as waivers would be decided on a case-by-case basis. In her ruling, Reyes noted that Hegseth contradicted this defense. In a February 27th post on Twitter, Hegseth shared a Fox News article while quoting the headline, "Pentagon says transgender troops are disqualified from service without an exemption." The Trump administration declined Reyes' request for a declaration on whether Hegseth's post reflected official policy, reported Politico senior legal affairs reporter Kyle Cheney. The Defense Department issued new guidance on Friday stating it would enforce Trump's ban based on medical diagnoses for those with gender dysphoria rather than a sweeping transgender ban. The acting head of the Social Security Administration walking back comments he made. Leland Dudick. What a fucking name. If there was ever anyone I ever wanted to punch just based on a name. I know somebody. Hold on. Always have to look up his full name. Just based on his full name, I know I want to punch him in the fucking face. Theodore Capitani von Kernowski III. I want, just based on that fucking name, I want to punch him in the goddamn face. Theodore Capitani von Kernatowski III. Oh, okay. That's first on the list. Second on the list is Leland Dudick. I want to punch the... just based on their name alone. For the longest time, I thought Theo Vaughn was the boyfriend of Adam Devine on Righteous Gemstones. Apparently, that's two different dudes. They look exactly alike to me. Pictures side by side, I'm like, what's the fucking difference? Leland Dudick, the acting commissioner of the Social Security Administration, outlined his vision for the agency in a lengthy memo to staff members on Tuesday, detailing exploratory efforts to implement artificial intelligence and boost anti-fraud efforts as President Donald Trump and his right-hand advisor Elon Musk have zeroed in on claims of widespread improper payments at the Bureau. Before he ascended to the position, Dudick previously worked at the agency's anti-fraud office. The Bureau opened an investigation into him after he was suspected of improperly sharing information with Musk's U.S. Doge service. The Trump administration then placed him in charge of the agency. In the memo on Tuesday, which was shared with NBC News by a person who obtained it, Dudick apologized for having made mistakes, said he will continue to make more, and pledged to learn from them. Over the past month, this agency has seen an unprecedented level of media coverage, some of it true and deserved, while some of it has not been factual and painted the agency in a very negative light. I know this has been stressful for you and has caused disruption in your life. Personally, I have made some mistakes, which makes me human like you. Fellow humans, I am human like you. I make mistakes. Me human, you human. We human. Somebody named Leland would talk like that. I promise you this. I will continue to make mistakes, but I will learn from them. My decisions will always be with the best intentions for this agency, the people we serve, and you. Dudek's remarks about making mistakes echo those of Musk, who has said that Doge will make mistakes, but that they will be fixed very quickly. Dudek praised employees as outstanding, saying the agency hasn't missed a beat amid the heightened attention. He then laid out where he believes the agency has made meaningful progress in recent weeks. He highlighted 3 specific points: working to prevent improper payments, improving telephone service, and processing submissions from employees who choose the voluntary separation program the Trump administration promoted. Dudek said 2,700 Social Security employees signed up for that program. 2,000 were deemed eligible, while more than 1,400 have signed their voluntary separation agreements. Those words are plagiarized. Last week, we had some nasty weather pop up. A tornado touched down in northern Kentucky, and nobody knew about it. How in the fuck does that happen?
We also have new information about the tornado that touched down in Boone County at CVG this week and why the alert sirens were not activated. Boone County Emergency Management Director Kevin Vogelpohl says that those sirens only go off when the National Weather Service issues a tornado warning for the area, but that didn't happen given how quickly the storm spun up. The National Weather Service reports it hit speeds of 105 miles an hour and was on the ground for about 3 minutes just before 11 o'clock Wednesday night.
Wow.
What we're being told is it was such a quick thing. They were not prepared or did not think that this would occur with this storm, but they were not aware that anything was going to occur, nor did they see anything on the radar that this was going to occur, and it happened so quickly and was gone that I don't believe it ever appeared on the radar.
Vogelpohl says that the storm damaged a building under construction at the airport and another commercial building, as well as some trees along North Bend Road. Local 12's Chief Meteorologist John Gum reports it is common for smaller, brief tornadoes to not get any warnings. He says it was the second tornado to hit the airport since 1950. Boone County's Code Red system that's available as a smartphone app did issue a severe thunderstorm warning, but users can opt out of getting those alerts.
I'm sure nothing happening on the federal level will affect the meteorologist's ability to do their job. But we live in the stupidest timeline. They mentioned Senator Ron Johnson. Quite possibly the dumbest man in the Senate. This man isn't dumb, but boy is he oblivious to what the fuck is going on, and completely ill-prepared for the moment. His name is Chucky Boy Schumer. And he's saying he ain't going anywhere. He's not stepping down as the leader of the Democrats.
All right. Well, I do want to move to some of the discussions on Capitol Hill. Because of your decision, Leader Schumer, last week to clear the way to pass a Republican funding bill and avoid a government shutdown, you have faced calls from outside groups, even members of your own party, to step aside as minority leader. When asked about your future at a town hall, Senator Michael Bennet said, quote, "It's important for people to know when it's time to go." Leader Schumer, are you feeling pressure to step down?
Look, I'm not stepping down. And let me just say this, Kristen. I knew when I cast my vote against against the government shutdown that it would be there'd be a lot of controversy, and there was. But let me tell you and your audience why I did it, why I felt it was so important. The CR was certainly bad, you know, the continuing resolution, but a shutdown would be 15 or 20 times worse. Under a shutdown, the executive branch has sole power to determine what is, quote, essential. And they can determine without any...
Oh, we've heard him do this.
...rules. It's solely up to the executive what to shut down. With Musk and Doge and Trump and this guy Vogt, V-O-G-H-T, I think is how you spell his name, is the head of OMB, they would eviscerate the federal government.
Oh, you can spell, Chucky.
Say, oh, SNAP, feeding hungry children, not essential. On day 4, mass transit, all transit, aid to the states, not essential. We're cutting it. On day 6, Medicaid, we'll cut that by 20, 30, 50, 80%. We'll go after Social Security. We'll go after the veterans. Their goal is to just eviscerate the federal government so they can give more taxes, more tax cuts to their billionaire class over there. And so it would be devastating. And here's what makes one more thing. Here's what makes it worse. There's no
that's exactly who he is, Shelley.
How long the shutdown would last. Only those evil people at the top of the executive.
And now they're laughing like, ah ha ha. We were Project 2025 all along.
Told a Democratic senator, colleague of mine, and this guy is close.
Flash, I was wondering that one side of his face. It's like his one eye is kind of shut. Has he had a stroke? What do you guys think?
Republican senators close to the Doge Musk people. They would keep the government shut down for 6 months, 9 months, a year, till everyone was furloughed and gone and quit, and there'd be no way to stop it. So I thought that would be so devastating to the Republic and anger so many people that we actually went forward with a shutdown, which have even worse consequences than the CR. It was a vote of principle. You know, sometimes when you're a leader, you have to do things to avoid a real danger that might come down the curve. And I did it out of pure conviction as to what a leader should do and what the right thing.
You just always had one bug eye or something?
And to that point, I mean, some Democrats are saying they want leadership to show more fight in this moment. They think that's what's required. You were, of course, instrumental in urging President Biden to drop out of the 2024 race when he himself wasn't convinced. I've had conversations with Democrats, Leader Schumer, who say this moment feels very similar. Are you making the same mistake that President Biden did?
No, absolutely not. I did this out of conviction. And look, in my office, we have a disagreement as to, you know, some people voted one way, some people voted the other. But we've all agreed to respect each other because each side saw why the other side felt so strongly about it. And our caucus is united in fighting Donald Trump every step of the way. Our goal, our plan, which we're united on, is to make Donald Trump the quickest lame duck in modern history by showing how bad his policies are. He represents the oligarchs, as I said. He's hurting average people in every way. And we are through
getting Chucky to say oligarchs.
What he's doing through the courts, which
that's something at least.
Had some real success in, through legislation, and through organizing in all the districts throughout the country, so that I believe that because the Republicans are already nervous, you know, a lot of them said don't hold town hall meetings. I believe by 2026, the Republicans in the House and Senate will feel like they're rats on a sinking ship because we have so gone after Trump and all the horrible things he's doing, and they will know it, see it, hate it, and act on it.
Let me ask you about something former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said on Tuesday about your decision. She said, quote, "I myself don't give away anything for nothing," and I think that's what happened the other day. Do you acknowledge that Democrats didn't get anything in this fight, Leader Schumer?
Well, what we got at the end of the day is avoiding the horror of a shutdown. There was no leverage point that we could have asked for things. They just would have said no, and because they controlled, let's not forget, they control the House and Senate, they could force a vote, yes or no, on the CR without any additions. Patty Murray tried very hard to get them to add things, and they said no.
Oh, fuck Patty Murray.
Because of the rules of the Senate,
They could
that old
force a
hag.
vote, yes or no. It was a difficult vote.
I'm sorry, that was me.
And I voted because I thought, you know, I say to people, when you're on that political mountain, the higher up you climb, the more fiercely the winds blow. And the only way you stop being blown off the mountain is your internal gyroscope. My internal gyroscope said, regardless of the fact that some people would not like it, which I knew, that I had to do the right thing for the country and for our party.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking
Shut up,
news
Chuck.
and stories on the NBC.
Shut up, Lester.
Follow us on.
I don't think that's how mountains work. Contrast Chuggy Boy Schumer with our boy Bernie. Check out the difference. And I think we're getting traction. I think even Fox News was covering this rally.
I want you to look at every level of office around you and support Democrats who actually fight, because those are the ones that can win against Republicans.
I would not be telling you the truth if I didn't tell you that within the Democratic Party, there are billionaires who have undue influence. Democrats have turned their backs on the working class of this country.
That was Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez drawing more than 30,000 supporters in Denver on Friday. I was there and spoke with Senator Sanders after the rally about whether the Democratic Party can do anything to slow President Trump's agenda.
Bernie is back.
Hey, Mr. Trump, people fought and
Bernie's back and better than ever.
create a democratic society.
Are we coalescing? Are we doing like Bernie 2028 now or something? Is that what's happening? Strap in. I'm for it. Let's do it. If he thinks he's got it in him.
You're not going to take it away from us.
83-year-old independent Senator Bernie Sanders is drawing crowds even bigger than he did as a presidential candidate.
Feeling the burn?
Yeah. For the past month, Sanders has taken his fight against President Donald Trump on the road. He's billing it the Fighting Oligarchy Tour.
Now, this is a whole new generation he's activating.
To become an oligarchy.
In Denver, the anti-Trump sentiment was strong.
Oh, I think it's a disaster. And he talks about he has a mandate. He never had a mandate.
But so was the frustration with Democrats.
How's the Democratic Party doing challenging this?
They got to be a little tougher.
Quit being a bunch of doormats.
It feels like we're left stranded when everything feels like it's crumbling.
Tour's Western swing, Sanders was joined by New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
He has handed the keys of the federal government.
Is your aunt somebody who would normally go to a political rally, Flash?
And is selling off our country for parts to the richest people on the planet.
More than 30,000 people showed up for their joint appearance in Denver.
Look, as you know, when you run for president, you do a lot of rallies, and we have done a lot of big rallies.
Dip.
32,000 people here is by far the largest rally I have ever done, and nobody's running for office. That tells you.
Okay,
So
fair
what
enough.
are you trying to accomplish with this tour?
I'm trying to make it clear to the people throughout the world and throughout our own country that the American people are not going to sit idly by and allow Trump establish an oligarchic form of government where Musk and other billionaires are running.
I'm afraid that's what's happening, though,
And we're
Bernie.
not going to sit back and allow him to form an authoritarian form of society, undermining the Constitution, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and undoing what the founding fathers of this country did in the 1790s, separation of powers, making sure that no one person had an extraordinary amount of power. And that is precisely what Trump is trying to do. He wants it all. He doesn't want Congress. He doesn't want the media. He doesn't want the judiciary. He wants all of the power. We cannot allow him to have that.
Well, I hear you telling people out there, fight back. What do you mean, though? How do they fight back?
Well, it's the question. We're working on it right now. But I think, first of all, coming here and showing the world that Americans are not going to sit back and take what Trump is doing is a good step forward. But obviously, what we need to do is what neither political party is capable of doing right now, and that is develop a strong grassroots movement.
His hair is like it was going into 2020. Because, like, in 2016, didn't care. It was all fucking frizzed up and shit, right? When we came around to 2020 and he was... Because if you don't know, he didn't think he could win in 2016. He was just meant to be a protest candidate. He's just like... after the Iowa caucus, and it wasn't Iowa, it was after New Hampshire and Nevada, he's looking around like, oh shit, I can actually like make a run at this. And it was too late to actually have the apparatus in place. By 2020, he came in looking more polished. His hair is combed. What does that signal? I think we're doing Bernie 2028. I'm down, bitches.
Prepared to run candidates, prepared to stand up and question candidates, demand responsibility from their elected officials to stand with working families and not just the 1%.
I've been covering you for a long, long time. I've heard you railing against millionaires and billionaires for a long time.
Hey, guess what?
Is it different?
Me too. A few other people are catching on to that, right? Yeah. I have been talking for many years about this country moving toward an oligarchy. And I think anybody who is not dumb, deaf, or blind is seeing precisely what is happening. Trump's inaugural, right behind him, 3 wealthiest guys in America. You know, Lincoln talked about a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Remember? Well, we got a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, and for the billionaire class. That's what we have.
So we're about...
Molotovs out, bitches.
...to the Trump era, the second Trump era. How would you grade the Democratic Party's response?
Well, I would take us back even 2 years before that, before Trump was elected, and saying that it saddens me that when the Democrats had control of the Senate, they did virtually nothing for working.
Libertad.
I'm a member of the Democratic caucus as an independent, so I'm not going to lie to you and tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
And since then, do I think the Democrats have been effective in rallying the American people in stopping Trump's movement toward oligarchy and authoritarianism? No, I don't.
Is there anything that you think Trump has done right?
Yeah, I mean, I think cracking down on fentanyl, making sure our borders are stronger. Look, nobody thinks immigration is appropriate. And I happen to think we need comprehensive immigration reform. But I don't think that it's appropriate for people to be coming across the border illegally. So we've got to work now on comprehensive immigration reform. The idea that Trump...
That sounds like somebody's going to run for office again.
Deport 20 million people who are in this country who are undocumented. Well, you do that, you destroy the entire country, because I got news for you. Trump's billionaire friends are not going to pick the crops in California that feed us. They're not going to work in meat packing houses. That's what undocumented people are doing. So we need a variety of programs, guest worker programs.
He also doesn't look very good, though.
Immigration reform.
But you know, illegal immigration.
He looks very tired.
It exploded under Biden, and it had been high for times under Trump as well, but it exploded under Biden, and nothing was really done until his last year in office when he was...
Yep, should have done much better, no argument.
So realistically, Republicans control the House, they've controlled the White House, they control the Senate. So what realistically can be done?
Well, for major pieces of legislation, you still need 60 votes in the Senate. And let's be clear. I mean, we have picked many of the spots that I've gone to in Wisconsin, in Iowa, in Michigan. We chose them carefully.
Yeah.
And those are because they have Republican congressmen who won by small margins. Right now, I don't know what the number is. I think if 2 or 3 Republicans out of 200 and whatever it is, 18 or whatever they got, choose not to support giving tax breaks to billionaires and cutting Medicaid and education, we can defeat this big supplemental bill, the beautiful...
Oh, for sure. I think AOC is his...
So right now, what we're trying
anointed successor
on those congressional districts, demand that Republican Congress people sit down and talk to their constituents and explain why they think it's a good idea to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and cut veterans programs, cut Medicaid, cut Social Security, cut education.
You said that the passage of this bill, to the continuing resolution, was a absolute failure of Democratic leadership.
And it was.
Well, Schumer is the leader of the party, and it should not have happened, period. No question about it. But, you know, when we talk about Democratic leadership, we're talking about the Democratic Party in general. You know, so look, there's been nobody more critical of Chuck Schumer than I have been. And not just on this thing, But the bottom line is not just Chuck Schumer. It's not just Chuck Schumer. It is your
Old Chuggy
Party in general.
Yes, it is.
By billionaires, just as the Republican Party is, that is operates under the leadership of a bunch of inside the Beltway consultants, very well paid, who are way out of touch with the 32,000 people who are here today.
Damn right.
Cortez's criticism of Schumer has been harsher, fueling speculation she'll challenge him in the Democratic primary when he is up for re-election in 3 years. For his part, Sanders doesn't want to talk about whether or not Schumer should remain the Democratic leader in the Senate. And he got irritated when I asked him about the possibility of AOC running, abruptly getting up to end the interview.
Okay, you're out there with AOC today. Do you see her as a future of the progressive?
We have one of the untold stories of what's going on in current American politics, is that in the House of Representatives, you have dozens and dozens of strong, smart, disciplined, hardworking young people in the Progressive Caucus. And you know, way back when I first came to the Congress, the House, I helped form the Progressive Caucus. We had 5 people at that time. Now they got close to 100. So you got a whole lot of good people. Alexandria is extraordinary. I am so impressed by her work in Congress and she inspires young people all over the country.
Would you like to see her join in the Senate?
Right now we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
Well, I asked you.
Okay.
You know, you wanted.
Well, Schumer's up in 3 years.
I don't want to.
I wouldn't see her winning the.
I got 32,000 people.
I was just asking you about AOC because she was out there with you.
No, fine, but I don't want to talk about this. What was the last question?
I was just going to ask you one more question about you. I mean, that's all. I was literally your last.
What is your question?
Well, I mean, it's easier.
He sat back down.
I mean, I want to ask you about your future. This is the biggest crowd. You said you ran for president twice. This is the biggest crowd you've ever seen. Are we going to see you run again, or what's your future?
No, right now, I am very proud that the people of the state of Vermont sent me back to the Senate with 63% of the vote. Right now, I'm Vermont senator. That's what I do, and I'm very happy to do it. I am 83 years of age, and I'm tired.
He looks tired. I think he's going to run again, though.
Talk to us and for letting us get that last question in.
His answers made it seem like he's running again, because he was triangulating on a few things. And if you're in your last, you've won the Senate, you've got another 6 years. If this is your last hurrah, you've got no reason to triangulate on things. He's running in 2028. That's insane. I wouldn't have thought so until I just watched that interview, Shelley. Why would it be pointless? He may be the only person to win. He may, but then again, other people have said there's only one person that has a 100% win rate against Donald Trump. His name is Joe Biden. What do you guys think? We do it one more time? Joe Biden, 2028?
Come on, man.
Casey, good evening, my friend. Oh, come on, guys. 100% win rate against Donald Trump. We can admit that we were wrong and that Joe shouldn't have dropped out. We should have kept Joe. We should have backed old Joe. I'm not high enough for this shit. No, Gavin, no. We're all totally against Gavin Newsom. No, I don't. And this was my pick for vice president, was Andy Beshear out of Kentucky. You guys do not know how popular he is. And has a very broad coalition. A popular Democrat in a red state. That's something. Pritzker is also, like, we've got some strong, I don't want to say we. Democrats have some strong contenders. I would much rather see Waltz, Pritzker, Beshear. Bernie looks like he's going to run, and you don't even have to weaken it. I don't know why you guys are assuming at like 86 years old he wouldn't still be spry. Strom Thurmond served until he was like 96 or something. What was Dianne Feinstein? We can get 4 good years out of Bernie. Really, DJ Dub? Wow. What if he's just looking around and saying, like, you know, I've got to buy some time? Because that's the way I'm looking at it. If AOC is running for Senate and she needs that, you know, that seasoning there, and you're setting her up to be the successor, then do you need 4 years to buy some time? I believe if Bernie ran and would say, I'm a placeholder, I'm only going to serve 1 term, he would actually, you know, live up to it, unlike Biden. But who is in that spot already? Who is the person to pass the torch to? I feel like it's probably going to have to come from the governorship. And you know what? I honestly wouldn't be all that pissed off with Gretchen Whitmer. She's down at the bottom of the candidates, but goddamn, I'd take her over Josh Shapiro. Big Gretch. Andy Beshear, Big Gretch. Oh, what do you guys think about that? That's kind of my ranking of 2028 presidential hopefuls. I've got Walz, Beshear. Who was my other one I liked? Oh, Pritzker. I got Walz, Beshear, Pritzker. Then probably like Whitmer. All governors. Strong. It's cute. I believe in 2020. Fair enough. Fair enough. Our only hope. Clearly, they all sound like awful options. I don't know that AOC would be as VP if she's running for Senate. Samson, good evening. All right, throw me somebody. Throw me who's your ideal. Because I feel like if you don't get one of those, you're going to get Mark Cuban or some shit. And I definitely don't want that. You don't want Harris again. You don't want Mark Cuban again. So you got to get some enthusiasm behind something. You don't want Pete Buttigieg. I know you motherfuckers don't want Pete Buttigieg. It's time for guillotines. It's time to raise the boards. It's time to sharpen blades. We just can't take this anymore. Those peaceful protests just were not cutting it. Martin Luther King and Gandhi both can go suck a dick. Sorry, got auto-modded there, T-Minus. Honestly, clinically, I can get behind that. We need Congress to take more power anyway. We need more of the power in Congress. I've seen the executive branch suck so much power. It was supposed to be more of just a figurehead job anyway. We've let the presidency usurp way too much power, and we need to get it back into the hands of Congress. Martin Luther King and Gandhi both can go suck a dick.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Speaking of Trevor Moore, do you guys remember back when, I don't know what Alex Jones did to cause this video, or just something happened that bubbled this video up to the top of the algorithm. But do you remember back when Alex Jones went on that rant about how white people are so awesome? And he's like, I just want to take a moment and talk about how awesome white people are. White people, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's a Trevor Moore bit where he's like, goddamn white people are geniuses. So I cut that up for a TikTok YouTube short. Yeah, it wasn't Whitest Kids You Know. It was after Whitest Kids. It was a Trevor Moore comedy special on Comedy Central. But the song's he's talking about goddamn white people are geniuses. And the producer comes in and is like, you're saying only white people are geniuses. That's really racist. It's where did you learn that? And he's like, oh, in this history book. It's like, where'd you go to school? It was like, Virginia in the 1980s. But the skit is making fun of racists. But somehow I've got a bunch of racists on my YouTube that think that Trevor Moore is agreeing with Alex Jones. That Trevor Moore, a dude told me I didn't understand satire. A dude told me I didn't understand satire. And the bit is making fun of people like him that think that, because he said white people don't get to celebrate their achievements. Mind-boggling. I'm like, please go watch the skit. It's mocking you, motherfucker. Trevor got really into moonshine during the pandemic. And then drunkenly fell off a balcony. Casey, what does that have to do with anything? It's so weird. Come on, man. I don't understand how you people are just constantly oh, remember when Biden did this? It's such a weird thing to constantly be on about. Biden, none of us would fight you on the fact that Biden's a racist. You know? So what? I don't get it. Let's continue on with our exploration of how Trump is butchering federal agencies that keep us safe. This one is about measles, Vermont politics. Good evening. Welcome in. We don't allow links in the chat. Your link has been blocked. But that feels kind of rude to me that you would come in my chat and be like, watch this video. No, watch my videos. I'm trying to make it here as a content creator. Don't try to come and promote other people's videos. You subscribe to my YouTube channel. I mean, I voted for Biden. What do you mean supports Biden, you know? Like, I voted for him. I haven't got to see you on Vermont. I would totally like to check you out. Yeah, we have a shill section in the Discord. Totally come join us over there. And now, join us, light one up, and tipping one back. We got measles in like 15 states now.
Now to concerns over the measles, cases are rising nationwide. In fact, they're now surpassing the number for all of last year. ABC's Rena Roy is following this. Good morning, Rena.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, the numbers really just seem to keep rising. There are now more than 370 cases across the country in 17 states.
Oh, I'm sorry. 17 states. Spider Pickle, good evening.
According to recent CDC data. That means there are more cases so far this year than all of last year. Keep in mind, we are only in March. More than 60 people have been hospitalized so far, with children under 5 seeing the highest rates of hospitalizations. Unfortunately, 2 deaths have been linked to measles this year, 1 under investigation. And
hey, Casey, you want to know something? I knew Robert Byrd personally. What you got to say about Robert Byrd? Why would you bring up Robert Byrd? I'm interested. Cause like it kind of upsets me when right wingers bring him up. Robert Byrd was the senator from West Virginia when Justin was he was not the leader of the KKK. Vermont, you can't promote yourself in my chat. That's kind of rude. We're glad to have you here, but like you can't share links in the chat. Was not the Grand Master of the KKK, Casey. And not only that, it's weird for you to bring it up. Vermont, you're not helping me. I'm in the middle of a fucking show. No, Robert Byrd was indeed part of the KKK and he was a local leader. You're not fucking helping me. You're distracting me as I'm doing a fucking show. Do you understand that? Robert Byrd was a local leader of the KKK. It's like a Grand Poobah or whatever. The name is fucking stupid. Left the KKK, denounced it, and fought against the KKK for the rest of his life. So for you to come in and soil him that way is infuriating. Do you understand? See, even saying retired KKK, that's misrepresenting his position. Left, denounced it, fought against it as a member of Congress for the rest of his life. Far different than what you are portraying it. No, you're being disingenuous with your words, and I don't appreciate it. Why are you painting him as if being in the KKK was all he did when he spent this was like when he was in his 20s in West Virginia in like the fucking 40s, 50s, as he's trying to get ahead in politics. Leaves, denounces it. No. Your words leave out. By omission, you're making him sound like a virulent racist, which he wasn't. And I knew him personally. I was the news director. Do you understand the idea that he fought against the Klan and racism the rest of his life, far longer than the time that he was in the Klan. So to call him a virulent racist is to completely misrepresent him. How is it that you're not getting this? It pisses me off when conservatives do this shit. Like, I appreciate the support on the channel, Casey, but Jesus fucking Christ. And I knew him personally. He was great to me when I was the news director of several radio stations in West Virginia. And he was a senator. I interviewed him multiple times. I at one point in time, I don't have it anymore, but I had him on a CD, like, wishing me happy birthday. And, like, why did you even bring it up? Casey has thrown out 29 gift subs in my chat. I mean, it is the Troll Patrol. But, like, why would you even bring that up and try to paint, like, why would you try to paint him like that? I don't get it. Is it just like you gotta sling some mud at Democrats? We're talking about how fucking horrible the Republicans are being now, so you gotta bring up some old shit to try to, like, false equivalency or something? Yeah, I'm sure Robert Byrd was very harmful to the whole 2 black people that lived in West Virginia. Yeah, go tell a member of the KKK they're a Democrat now. And, like, man, like, Casey, you've been so cool here, but, like, I knew him personally. What would you say if I tried to, like, slander one of your friends? I don't get the rationale. Light one up, tip one back. And fucking Robert Byrd died like 10, 15 years ago. Motherfucker been dead for a long time. That's just wild. We were talking about measles. I might want to clip this for the YouTube. So let's pretend like I didn't just get sidetracked there. Let's start all over again. Oh. The measles are continuing to spread across the United States in 17 states now.
Now to concerns over the measles, cases are rising nationwide. In fact, they're now surpassing the number for all of last year. ABC's Rena Roy is following this. Good morning, Rena.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, the numbers really just seem to keep rising. There are now more than 370 cases across the country in 17 states, according to recent CDC data. That means there are more cases.
Hope you've had your MMR shots, kiddos.
Keep in mind, we are only in March. More than 60 people have been hospitalized so far, with children under 5 seeing the highest rates of hospitalizations. Unfortunately, 2 deaths have been linked to measles this year, 1 under investigation and 1 confirmed, which marked the country's first measles-related death.
Killing us with kindness over here.
Officials say most of the cases are in Texas and New Mexico.
Casey, thank you for throwing out the gift subs.
It's important to note, most people infected are unvaccinated or
see no hard feelings
status.
I guess.
We say it all the time.
Don't slander my friends, though.
The CDC recommends 2 MMR vaccine doses as the best way to protect against measles, mumps, and rubella.
Definitely some concern with these new outbreaks. Rena, thank you. We appreciate it.
Just know that you can't buy me changing my opinion. No matter how many subs you throw in the chat, I will always stick to my guns. Soup, good evening. Oh, God. I'm so sorry, Soup. I don't know. This is one of the most contagious diseases on the planet, so I don't know how to tell you to be careful out there as this continues to spread from state to state. If you have one of the shots, you said you're not complete. If you have one of the shots, you've got like 90% immunity. The second shot like boosts you up to like 97 or 98%. So if you did get the one, you should have, pretty good immunity against it. But whoo! Robert Byrd was cool as shit to me. He was so fucking nice. And it was hard. Mitch McConnell was I was the news director of 9 radio stations in eastern Kentucky. We owned 2 or 3 in West Virginia. We had, because Williamson, West Virginia was 20 minutes away, and we owned 2 or 3 radio stations in Williamson, West Virginia. So I was the news director of all these stations. At the time, Jim Bunning and Mitch McConnell were the senators from Kentucky. Robert Byrd and Senator Jay Rockefeller and Robert Byrd, they were the senators from West Virginia. Rockefeller and Byrd, always stupid fucking nice to me. Fantastic. Always treated me well. Bent over backwards to accommodate me. McConnell and Bunning, they were both Republicans. Bunning was like some baseball player. The Goldsmith family, why can't you join my Discord? Somebody put it in the chat. If the link is expired that's in my YouTube, somebody can hook you up in the chat here, or I can do it. That should take you straight to my Discord. Goldsmith family. But yeah, Mitch McConnell and Bunning were always like dicks. Impossible to get a hold of for comment or do anything on specials or anything. Fucking Byrd, specifically Byrd. Byrd was the one that I got the closest to. And then Senator Jay Rockefeller was always really nice to me. I met him once. I never actually met Byrd. I talked to Byrd over the phone several times. And nobody in this chat likes Hillary Clinton. And also, Hillary Clinton isn't relevant anymore. I don't know why you're bringing them up. It doesn't work. We may have a skill issue. I don't know. I'll make an invite for you right now. I'm putting it in the chat. See if this one works. Oh, no, that doesn't. Well, that doesn't work out. I'm sorry. Oh, somebody put a lock on it. Was that me? See if you can come in now. I think that might have been a me issue. Somehow I locked the channel down. This should be the one right here. We like to talk. Ah, fuck. Boom. That one right there. It was totally a me issue on that one. My apologies. I'm not high enough for this shit. Goldsmith family. That sounds like a sitcom. Let's meet the Goldsmith family. I don't mean to mock you for your name, but that's just kind of a thing I do. I don't mean to do it. I don't mean to be mean to people. Huh. Okay, if you're in my Friends of Freakin server, there's voice channels, and there's one called Debate Freakin. And you just click on it, and it should take you straight into the channel. Everything's computer. Is there a soundbite of that, or was he just quoted as saying that? If it's a soundbite, you guys love it. I'm gonna have to fucking make it into a drop. Is it on video? Okay, it's on video. Curiouser was like, you need new graphics that pop up on screen. Yours are old now. I was like, well, I told her I've got like 4 or 5. And she's like, yeah, that's what you need. I'm like, I just haven't had time. Dragonfly Test 420. That sounds like the name of somebody who likes to smoke some Chiba. I'm sorry. Do you want to call in? You can use a phone, can't you? We got a phone number. 917-830-4359. You seem like you'd be fun to talk to. Light one up, tip one back, my friend. Princess Kimberly, did I tell you good evening? Always a pleasure to see you. I'm supposed to be on a panel with Globus producer Dave at some point in time. Yeah, would you like to call in? 917-830-4359. You can give me a little ringy ding ding. Can't talk to me on the Discord. We were talking about the measles. Well, Globus said that he wanted to debate AI, and I'm like, well, I don't really, I'm not up on the latest technology, but I kind of told him, what I thought the perspective I could bring to the table, and if he wanted to have me on, I was down. Like he agreed. I think we just got to nail down a time. What do you want to? I don't even know, what are we debating about? I don't know what Globus is. I have Crix's AI. Yeah, I feel like with anything, it's the capitalistic incentive just, ruins what could be good technology. I'm not again, because what they call AI, okay, so I'm a video editor, right? They've integrated tools into Adobe. There's certain things that they call AI that I appreciate that they've given me now. Like in Photoshop, it makes selecting a person in a picture, doing a quick mask, makes it really easy. Seriously, Julie, I understand. Cats are superior? Superior to what? Like, what are you superior to? He's kind of a dickhead. I don't know what he's superior to. Oh, I didn't work with him. I was the news director of like a little conglomerate of radios, locally owned, but like 9 radio stations. And I interviewed Senator Byrd multiple times. So our coverage area was Kentucky and West Virginia. A whole nother life. A whole completely different life I led. That feels like forever ago. Yeah, look at this guy right here. That's a completely different life. Look at that twinkle in his eye. That cute smile. Yeah, I don't do FaceTime on the stream. Discord and phone are your only options, my friend. Whole nother life. I don't see any of my other. This was we had like what was called the Hillbilly Days Festival. Z-Rock, that was one of the stations I worked at. Bird was a whole lifetime ago, seriously. I think I look kind of evil in that picture. Oh, there's that one. I have a few of suit and tie Justin. Looking all clean and fancy. I like this a lot better. They made me cut my hair for that. I was growing it out. I never got to have long hair until years later. Every time I tried to grow it out, like I always had a job be like, nope, you got to cut it. Made me sad. We were talking about the measles. I've been trying to set up this story for like an hour now. Parents of Texas child who died of the measles stand by their decision not to vaccinate their kid. Reading from the Texas Tribune here. I bet they were in Fort Worth, weren't they? No, it's those enclaves further out west, I think, that are unvaxxed. The Texas parents of an unvaccinated 6-year-old girl who died from the measles on February 26 told the anti-vaccine organization Children's Health Defense in a video released Monday. Oh shit, there's video? I'm not finding the video. Probably because my algorithm is programmed for reputable stories that are all talking about that video. Reputable sources that are debunking it. I would have liked to have heard from the parent. She says she would still say, "Don't do the shots." An unidentified translator for the parents said, "Oh shit." Does that mean they are Spanish speaking? They think it's not as bad as the media is making it out to be. It killed your kid. The West Texas measles outbreak, the biggest in the state in 30 years, has infected more than 270 people and hospitalizing dozens of them. Public health officials have repeatedly told Texans that studies have time and time again shown that the safest and most effective way to avoid contacting the very infectious, life-threatening disease is to vaccinate with the MMR shot, the measles, mumps, rubella shot. And as has been going around on the internet, you definitely don't want to get the mumps, and you don't want to put your children. I'm speaking to most people that are listening to this have probably had their MMR shots. They had to have them to go to school. It's about what you do with your kids now, and you don't want your kids to have the mumps. Apparently, causes your balls to swell, and it's very, very painful. Casey, the recommended dosage is 2 shots. One shot gives you about 90% immunity. The other shot that is administered something like 6 or 9 months later gives you 97% immunity. Speaking of people with immunity, apparently the Pope is immune from death. He is kicked out. I thought he was done for. I was asking Warlord if he'd ever gone through the smoke ordeal with the choosing a new Pope.
This morning, the Pope making his first public appearance, giving a blessing after 5 weeks in the hospital and now heading home. Doctors saying the 88-year-old's condition has stabilized enough for him to leave Rome's Gemelli Hospital and return to his Vatican residence, where he will still need oxygen and physiotherapy.
The Holy Father will be discharged, as we said before, in a stable clinic.
How old's the Pope?
With a prescription.
Can Bernie Sanders run for Pope?
To partially continue drug therapy and convalescence and rest period at least 2 months.
Catholics gathered outside the Pope's hospital celebrating the happy news. It's a great joy for all of us, for all the faithful, and for all of us who've come here.
I bet the riches in that church can feed a lot of people.
Doctors recommend the Pope now avoid meeting with large groups of people, adding it will take some time for his voice to return to normal. He was first hospitalized on February 14th with bronchitis, which then developed into pneumonia. Doctors say this resulted in 2 life-threatening medical crises requiring antibiotics, steroids, and eventually assisted breathing treatments and oxygen therapy. The Pope sounding weak and out of breath in an audio message released by the Vatican in early March. By week 3, his condition began to stabilize and improve.
The Holy Father was never intubated, and he always remained alert and oriented.
The Vatican releasing this photo showing him praying at the hospital chapel, but the Pope otherwise staying out of sight.
Fuck the Pope. We are now heading into the crime section of the show. So I'm going to hit the content warning. Pretty horrific. The next 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. That made some of you really happy. But if you're not into the really graphic stuff, you might want to step away for about 30 minutes. Once again, your content warning. We're going to start off with one that may inspire conspiracy theories. A former U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia was found dead. She was apparently somebody that a Republican administration definitely wouldn't like working on corruption. You're not in like the Voice channel or anything, Goldsmith. I don't even see a request.
Tonight with the latest on the investigation into the death of the former U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Jessica Aber. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Erica Gonzalez. We first told you about this developing situation during News 4 at 6. Here's where things stand tonight. The 43-year-old was found unresponsive this morning around 9:30 in the 900 block of Beverly Drive. Aber was a longtime prosecutor in Northern Virginia and had resigned her post 2 months ago. Reaction across the legal community continues to pour in tonight. U.S. Attorney Eric Siebert is remembering Aber this evening, saying in part, quote, "She was unmatched as a leader, mentor, and prosecutor, and she is simply irreplaceable as a human being. We remain in awe of how much she accomplished in her all too brief time in this world. Her professionalism, grace, and legal acumen set the standard." We are still working to find out more about the circumstances around Aber's death. We will update you when we learn more.
She apparently investigated corruption at the CIA, FBI. A lot of work on Russia. Stepped down after Trump came into office, apparently. In protest. Three people have been arrested after a mass shooting. It's just another day. Oh, wait a minute. This didn't happen in the USA. This happened in Mexico. 3 people have been arrested after a mass shooting in Mexico.
Some new developments in that mass shooting at a New Mexico park that killed 3 teenagers. A third suspect is now in custody. Las Cruces police say a 17-year-old, along with 2 other young men, are being charged with 3 counts of murder for their alleged connection to this deadly shooting that also injured more than a dozen people. Police say the violence unfolded at an unsanctioned car show. ABC News' Melissa Adan with the latest.
Oh, this wasn't in Mexico? Oh, it was in New Mexico. Oh, my bad. Never mind. It was just another day in mass shooting USA. My bad. I got it wrong.
New developments in that mass shooting at a New Mexico park that killed 3 teenagers. A third suspect is now in custody. Las Cruces police say a 17-year-old with 2 other young men are being charged with 3 counts of murder for their alleged connection to this deadly shooting that also injured more than a dozen people. Police say the violence unfolded at an unsanctioned car show. ABC News' Melissa Adan with the latest.
A dramatic video posted on Instagram showed the moment gunfire erupted Friday night.
1143 Central, we have multiple gunshot victims. Multiple gunshot victims. 969 Central, start alerting area hospital.
The victims rushed to area hospitals. Las Cruces police say 3 young men, ages 16, 18, and 19, were killed. At least 15 others hospitalized. A witness sharing this video with ABC News showing a large crowd surrounding a car before a gunshot was heard. Authorities say about 200 people gathered during an unsanctioned monthly car rally when a fight between 2 groups escalated. Police saying they found about 50 to 60 handgun caliber casings littered across the park and saying they are now pursuing leads.
New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham mobilizing state resources to support the investigation, sharing that violent crime in Las Cruces has increased by 46% compared to last year. Phil?
All right,
Bill.
Don, thank you.
Bill McCracken. I'm horrible. A few months ago, we did a story of it was a fire captain. Her wife had apparently already been wanted for murder before, or convicted of murder. murdered her, and then went on the run. They finally captured her, and they found her in Mexico. Unless it was New Mexico, and I just got confused.
It has been more than a month since CAL FIRE Captain Rebecca Marodi was found dead in her home in Ramona by first responders. This prompted a search for the person authorities suspect might be behind her death, her wife. Good evening. Thank you so much for being with us here on CBS 8. I'm Netta Iranpour. Tonight, we're learning that search is now over. CBS 8's Esmeralda Perez joining us here in studio to tell us about this arrest.
She's cute.
What happened?
Well, that's right. Now, authorities in Mexico have detained a suspect for allegedly killing her spouse, Rebecca Marodi. After a binational effort among law enforcement agencies, tonight we know Yolanda Marodi was detained in Mexicali. Yolanda Marodi was captured by authorities in Mexicali. They found her near a hotel in the Ferrocarril neighborhood. On February 17, first responders found Rebecca's body in her Ramona home, where she had suffered multiple stab.
New segment, Mexico or New Mexico?
Detectives identified Yolanda Marodi, Rebecca's spouse, as a suspect in the case. According to court records obtained by CBS 8, Yolanda Marodi had killed before, pleading guilty to voluntary manslaughter in October 2000 for the stabbing death of her first spouse. A couple of weeks ago, CBS 8 spoke with a veteran defense attorney to review the arrest warrant.
Her wife thought the same thing I was thinking. I can fix her. She's still hot. She ain't gonna kill me.
Told us then.
She's kind of a sitting duck for law enforcement. Her picture will be widely distributed. She's not a citizen or resident of Mexico. So unless she has a lot of resources, which it takes a lot of resources to go on the lam, it's just a matter of time, I believe, before she's arrested.
Diego Sheriff's Office say Mexican authorities notified U.S. Marshals that Yolanda Marodi had been located in Mexico and taken into custody. Now, Yolanda was later released to U.S. Marshals and taken into custody at a U.S. port of entry. Yolanda is being processed and will be booked into custody for murder. We will continue to bring you the latest information as it becomes available. Back to you.
Here's one that you guys are all going to like, I have a feeling. Most of you. Over the course of the last 6 weeks, 4 different current or former Houston police officers made themselves good cops.
Also today, friends and family said goodbye to veteran Harris County Deputy Christina Kohler. Her death last week was ruled a suicide. Kohler is one of 4 current or former Harris County deputies who've taken their own lives in just the last 6 weeks. ABC 13's Jessica Willey is live tonight, and this is leading to important conversations about the need for support, Jessica.
Only one kind of good cop.
Eric, the department has a behavioral health division that has made great strides since it was established in 2020 and has led the way, its director says, among law enforcement agencies. But these recent deaths are raising serious concerns for the deputies organization. The question is, what more should they be doing?
It caught a lot of us by surprise.
Harris County Sheriff's Deputy Christina Kohler left home last week and was never seen again. Houston police issuing this alert. The 37-year-old found on the 13th. She had taken her own life. 3 days later, Maria Vasquez, who left the department in December, died by apparent suicide. William Bozeman, also a former deputy, died earlier this week. Tragic news.
One is too many. 2, 3.
Was there an investigation going on?
Definitely devastating.
That
what was going to be uncovered?
Friends and colleagues try to process.
It hits very close to home, and it's a reminder to us of how fragile.
Oh, T-minus, I didn't see the no cursing. Why didn't you remind me?
Also a reminder that
God damn it,
to look out for each other. We do need to take care of each other.
Lopez is the president of the Harris County Deputies Organization, but he knew 2 of the late deputies personally.
I knew him for over 20 years.
In just 6 weeks' time, 4 current and former deputies have taken their own lives. Psychologist Thomas McNeese is the director of the department's Behavioral Health Division.
These last few weeks have been difficult for our staff and for the sheriff's office as a whole.
He says he and his division work to provide resources to both former and current employees who are struggling. They embed to help people feel more comfortable.
This profession, unfortunately, takes a toll on people, and over time, the longer they're in it,
I bet
the more of a toll that it takes. And
you got to be like a sociopath to do it anyway.
Historically, have a high rate of suicide.
It's a combination of things like what they see on the job and then what the job entails.
While the department has been focused on mental health, often leading the way, Lopez says these last few weeks.
Indeed, DJ Dub. I raise my glass.
To ask the question of, is that enough? You know, do we need to do something different? What else can we do?
And
what, to speed it up?
Those grieving, McNeese would
get those numbers up, son.
Anyone who might be in crisis.
Reaching out, getting some help, doing something to be able to not stay stuck.
Those are rookie numbers.
Jessica Willie, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Sorry, I love Wolf of Wall Street. We've got footage of a chase that took place in Michigan. Happened yesterday. Ended up with a cop getting shot.
We are seeing intense police chase from over the weekend. So this started at
Mateo Mons. If you take a poo, be sure to wash your ass.
Life is too short to walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
Friendly advice from your neighborhood freak daddy.
We are seeing intense video of a police chase from over the weekend. So this started in Township at a gas station and ended with officers shooting the suspect. That man is now in jail facing multiple charges. CBS News Detroit's Terrell.
Did he have a shotgun in his hand?
Employee who was there when it happened.
A wild police chase ends in a chaotic incident. All started when the suspect got out of his car at a gas station.
AK or something.
Scary moment at the time when somebody got out with a gun. It's scary.
Some sort of
I've been
rival.
here 16 years. I've never seen this ever happen again.
Sunday afternoon is a day employees at this mobile gas station will never forget. It all started when one man pulled up, tried to get gas, then attempted to get in another car, but it was locked. That's when he used a shotgun to smash.
Okay, a shotgun.
If you lift the nozzles.
I was right the first time.
It gives me a buzzer. The guy needed gas. So I looked over my shoulders and looked at the glass. And it's like,
Avalon.
Where is the guy? All of a sudden, I see him with the rifle. It's like, oh my God.
I talked with an employee who watched it unfold. He says after smashing the window, the suspect, now identified as Michael Robert Southworth, quickly pulled off. All the while, customers watched from inside.
And after the guy took off, we went to their car and we seen their side window was busted. Then we had to report it to the police.
Next, a multi-agency chase started. Macomb County deputies telling us Southworth lost control of his Jeep and landed in a field. When he got out, he was armed.
He's got a gun pointed up.
Authorities say they ended up shooting Southworth in his leg. While searching his car, they found multiple guns.
Thank God it didn't get crazy. Nobody got hurt.
We're told right now it's unknown what sparked the initial stop at the gas station, but employees tell me they're glad all agencies acted quick.
I give a lot of credit to Shelby Police. They were here on time. They were here fast.
I'm told the incident at the gas station lasted less than 90 seconds. Southworth now faces 6 felonies. He's currently in jail under a $1 million cash surety bond. He's expected back in court in early April. Terrell Bailey, CBS News. Detroit.
Wow. Okay, this next one might be disturbing to some of you, especially if you were a Gene Hackman fan. Body cam footage released in just the last few hours of cops arriving on the scene, responding to Hackman and his wife. Hold on, I gotta get a different browser. Happens from time to time.
This morning, new body camera video revealing workers for actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy overcome with emotion last month after the couple was found dead in their Santa Fe home.
He's just a normal person, you know, and I was to see that, both of them, bro. Sorry.
The video showing sheriff's deputies arriving on the property last month, along with witness interviews.
She was a sweetheart.
Officials later learning that Hackman died suffering from severe heart disease with Alzheimer's as a significant contributory factor. And Betsy died a week earlier of the hantavirus, a rare disease that can infect humans through...
Yeah, that's the wildest
One of
thing.
their dogs, who was in a crate, likely died of dehydration and starvation.
Oh.
The video showing deputies getting the numbers for Hackman's daughters and calling their daughter Elizabeth here to determine who would adopt the two surviving dogs.
I knew Gene and Betsy, and they took their dog to Santa Fe Trails, and so I'm here to help, but I can't adopt the dogs.
Thank you, Joseph. Workers trying to piece together how the unthinkable deaths could have happened.
I would communicate with her pretty much on a weekly basis. 2.5 weeks ago, that stopped.
As for inside footage, Hackman's estate wants to block the release, citing privacy. A judge will decide that later this month. Zoreen Shah, ABC News.
Biden wasn't on the fly logs, was he? I don't remember that. Like, Casey, are you just lying, trolling? What's going on? And why are you guys still talking about Epstein? And also, like, it's crazy that Casey's like, oh, like, you don't talk about it when Democrats are not. Always like, which, brother, I was talking about Epstein back in, like, 2012 and shit, before, like, any of you right-wingers brought it up. I was like, it's just right out in the open. And then, you know, there is the whole, yeah, I don't, if Biden was in the flight logs, I feel like I would know. You only care about Epstein when it's a Republican in charge, and, like, this exists. I mean, Richardson was on the flight logs, and fuck Richardson. Fuck Clinton. Like, we're no fan. Oh, shit. Gotta reset the clock. Nobody's simping for any of this. They're not even part of the Democratic Party anymore. Casey, did you know that Trump's labor secretary, his first time, was the prosecutor that got Epstein off? Bondi wasn't the attorney general yet, but I think she was working in one of the offices before becoming attorney general that would have been in charge of, you know, making sure Epstein stayed in prison in Florida. But Bill Barr was connected to Epstein. Like, didn't his dad, like, hire Epstein or something? Literally eye screwing a 12-year-old in the very clip we're watching. I mean, like, if you're going to be consistent, a woman in New York City was stabbed in a hospital bathroom while she was picking up medicine.
Now to a News 4 exclusive. Imagine this. A woman goes to the hospital in Queens to pick up a prescription, only to be stabbed by a random stranger. And her alleged attacker is now facing charges. Here's Weekend Today New York's Melissa Colorado with how all this happened.
Melissa Colorado.
It took 5 stitches to close this stab wound, which almost punctured the lung of this mother of 3 from Queens. But Lisette didn't have to be strapped to a gurney and rushed to a hospital when she was attacked last week. That's because she was stabbed inside Elmhurst Hospital. Lisette's daughter, Evelyn
Elmhurst Hospital?
To get injured in a hospital, you're supposed to, come out better, cured.
Last Tuesday, Lisette, who suffers from diabetes and lupus, stopped by Elmhurst Hospital to pick up medication. She says she stepped inside a woman's bathroom and entered a stall, but the door lock did not work properly. It's then when she says a woman forced her way into the stall and asked Lisette if she was done.
No, le digo no.
Lisette says the woman pulled out a kitchen knife and motioned Lisette to be quiet because a hospital employee was still in the bathroom.
Cuando siento nada más me da.
Lisette says the woman stabbed her in the chest and then ran out of the bathroom.
It frustrates you because, how? How can it even happen in a hospital?
Police have identified the attacker as 35-year-old Shashina Adams from Long Island City. Police say they recovered a kitchen knife that was found in a bathroom trash can. Adams pleaded not guilty to attempted murder and assault charges and remains in custody until her next court hearing. Lisette will have to inevitably return to Elmhurst Hospital for her usual medical checkups, which will likely bring up traumatic memories.
It makes me worry, what if this happens again?
Guests entering Elmhurst Hospital's ER waiting room have to pass by a metal detector. Lisette's family says that's not enough and is calling on the hospital to beef up security measures across other areas of the public hospital.
The hospital, Elmhurst Hospital, is not safe.
We reached out to New York City Health and Hospitals to find out what Elmhurst Hospital has to say about the incident, and we're still waiting for a response. That's the latest here in Elmhurst, Queens. I'm Melissa.
I hear Elmer's and I think glue. Raptor Blue, welcome in, my friend. Welcome, Raiders. I am JustinFREAKIN. We find out what that news be doing Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Right now, we need to get a little high since we got the Raiders coming in. If you partake, as I like to say, light one up, tip one back. I am packing a bowl myself. We're kind of in the middle of crime stories, so if you... we might be past the worst of it, so I don't want to... Oh, no. This next story is the worst of all the worst. This is the most sickening one I've got, but it's also not murder or death. Maybe, I don't know. There may be some death involved. If you partake, please do. You're gonna need it. No one is high enough for the story I'm getting ready to tell you. Oh my God. Guys, this may be one of the I've been doing this show almost 5 years. We're less than a month away from my 5th anniversary show. This could be the most fucked up story I have ever done on this show. And we covered Taylor Shabusiness. I don't think I am overstating this in any way. Prepare yourselves. An animal shelter worker attempts to sell human toes eaten and regurgitated by dogs. Animal shelter Sparkles would have bought them. Animal shelter worker attempts to sell human toes that had been eaten and regurgitated by dogs. I got 3.5 more minutes before I can cuss again. I love the picture that they used. This happened in Victoria, Australia. A woman who worked at an animal shelter pled guilty to attempting to sell human toes that had been eaten and regurgitated by dogs who had obtained them from their deceased owner. According to the Australian Associated Press, the dogs were brought into the woman's shelter after they ingested remains from their owner who had died of natural causes in their home. So the dogs had already eaten the toes and had come into the shelter. They regurgitated the 2 human toes. The woman, identified as Joanna Kinman, searched the trash to find the toe. She located the 2 human toes and took them home and placed them in a jar containing formaldehyde. Kinman reportedly discussed the idea of selling the toes on the online black market with her daughter, and she believed she could fetch over $250 with them. Among other viscera. Yeah, I did skip that part. Kimmin was part of a Facebook group called Bone Buddies Australia that bought and sold specimens like the one she had collected, and she reportedly sold a stillborn kitten and a puppy in the group previously. Kinman was charged with offensive conduct involving human remains. I told you. I warned you. Now we got like some fun crime stories, right? Maybe some of these might still have a tinge of sadness to them. Julie, thank you for giving out the gift sub. Blue Waters, welcome in. Glad to have you here, my friend. Ooh, Hook and Raptor blew up. Gave out 2 subs. Thank you, Julie. Bone enthusiast. Sparkles is a bone enthusiast. If you guys missed it, and also like, usually my clips of the Freak Show get scorn and disdain on YouTube. The clip of Sparkles and the George Foreman grill, like, and us calling this, what was the psychic connection or whatever it ended up being, and psychic connection calling me back. Overwhelming positive reviews so far. I'm going to cut the part where Sparkles is like, I got throat punched. And Justin thought I deserved it. I'm like, yeah, you were spitting teeth at him. They weren't your teeth. That's the craziest thing. Light one up, tip one back. Two Priuses led cops on a pursuit. It ended with one of the drivers fleeing into the harbor.
After jumping into the harbor on Sunset Beach in an attempt to run from police after a brief pursuit.
It was one of 2 police chases in the city this afternoon. KTLA 5's Orange County Bureau Chief Chip Yost is live at the scene. Chip?
Yeah, hey there, guys. An interesting day.
Chip Yost sounds like something like an affliction in your vagina. I can't have sex with you right now. I got a Chip Yost.
Here in Sunset Beach, a pursuit ended with a suspect trying to get away by jumping in the harbor. We'll show you a picture of him in the harbor in a moment. First, let's show you the car he was in. He crashed.
Great question, Crick.
PCH. This is the Prius he was driving. He crashed into a building after Huntington Beach police used a spike strip to try to stop him during a pursuit. But instead of giving up at that point, like I said, he then decided to run off, and his only option, basically the direction he went, was to jump in the water, and that's what he did. Here's a picture taken by Jim Murphy that he provided us. You see the suspect in the harbor, you see a police officer on the boat, but the suspect wasn't giving up. We're told by people who are out here watching it. He decided to try to swim under the boat or somewhere and tried to get away. So it took a little while. Took the help of lifeguards, police, at least one sheriff's deputy. They eventually got the guy into custody. All this while people were watching it play out. Here's what one witness described for us.
Well, I was just leaving the hotel, the Best Western right here, and going to my truck. And
what were you doing at the Best Western, sir?
And sure enough, not even 3 feet from my truck, this Prius comes sliding around with, the right side tires flat, crashes right here. Immediately, the guy jumps out of the car and not even 2 seconds, starts running this way. And not even 2 seconds later, a nice black Tesla just comes screaming by him.
Oh, it wasn't nice if it was a Tesla.
He chases him down the street. The cop gets out of the car, jumps into the water after the guy. And so tribute to the police officer and also tribute to Elon Musk and that fast Tesla, because he led the pack.
And did you see him getting pulled out of the water?
So that happened later on down the road here, because he was
pal.
swimming through the harbor. The cop was obviously knew exactly where he was going, and it just took a little bit longer, but I watched, and yeah, they pulled him out of the water. I think he jumped into someone's boat, maybe, and then they found him there.
Someone's boat?
Now, this guy was actually one of two police or suspects that police were pursuing as part of the car theft investigation. They say they spotted what they thought was a stolen Prius, a different stolen Prius in Newport Beach. Their helicopter did. When they came into Huntington Beach, they tried to pull that Prius over. They noticed that point that there were two Priuses involved, and they think they were both working.
Two Priuses?
One of the Priuses, the first one, crashed in Huntington Beach. That person was actually detained by some bystanders. It was this one, the second one, that crashed down here and ended up in this situation. So both suspects in custody.
I gotta rewind that back because you guys couldn't see it because of my camera. Little kid was waving at the news.
One that crashed down here and ended up in this situation. So both suspects in custody. One was a female, was detained by some bystanders in Huntington Beach. The second one, as you saw here, taken into custody after trying to get away by jumping in the harbor here in Sunset Beach. For now, reporting live here in Sunset Beach, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
A wild story, Chip. Thank you.
What up, Judgment? Welcome in, my friend. Glad to have you here. This also a police chase in LA that we apparently didn't get the whole thing. This has become the police chase stream. This guy wanted to open fire on the LAPD helicopter.
Following breaking news in Chatsworth, the LAPD responding to reports of an armed man who fired shots at an LAPD chopper.
Gil Lavis in Sky 5 with details over somebody's backyard, Gil.
That's right, Sandra and Glenn. You're looking at the 20,000 block of Typico Street. This is just off of Winnetka and Devonshire in Chatsworth, where LAPD Devonshire officers responded here to some sort of disturbance. Now, when the airship came over to look at the scene, this man that you see laying down on the deck of the pool there pointed one of those rifles, and let me come in tight to show you that he has got two rifles on the table there. He pointed one of those rifles at the airship. That sparked the big response by LAPD here, and we understand the SWAT team is en route. Now, the man has laid down as if he wants to surrender, but let me come out to a wide shot and show you. They are evacuating this neighborhood as we speak because of those weapons that are outside and near the man. But you see the response by LAPD. For now, they're going to wait for the
get in there, pussies.
The SWAT team to move in and make the arrest. But the good news is at least this suspect is.
Julie, it's just a helicopter. I freaked out when they called it an airship, but it's just a helicopter. It's fancy.
Is laying down, looking like he wants to surrender.
Cops got to act like fancy lads.
Because those rifles are too close to him, and he could jump up if the officers were to get in there. He could jump up and grab him real quick. So they're going to wait for the SWAT team to arrive and deal with this suspect. But again, 20,000 block of Topeka Street, and I can tell you it looks like, let me come out wider and show you, Devonshire is still open, as well as Winnetka. Actually, Winnetka is
a nice little neighborhood.
That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
This is a wild story. A woman that went missing in California has been found. She was arrested in Miami.
Thanks. Well, it's been nearly a year since a woman vanished from California. Her loved ones and police had a missing persons flyer out for her. But shockingly, today she was found right here in South Florida after the woman got arrested.
That's right. NBC6 reporter Christian Colon joins us now to break this story down for us.
Good. Yay, she's alive.
In July of last year, a Los Angeles family and local police began eagerly looking for 39-year-old Destiny Riddle. Anyone with information was urged to call the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department.
She's totally out of touch with her entire family. She's displayed paranoia, schizophrenia. She was on the missing person report since July of 2024. We have not heard from her.
But after nearly a year and across the country, Riddle was found, booked at a Miami-Dade County jail. Her mother told the judge today she was extremely concerned, especially about her daughter's mental health.
She needs help. I'm worried about her safety. She has no one. We have no family in Florida.
It's unclear how long Riddle has been in South Florida, but she's now behind bars for allegedly running over a 69-year-old man and punching someone else after a car accident.
She ran over my foot. My right foot had
just his foot.
My stomach, where I was pinned against the car door after she smashed it, is all bruised.
Riddle
did you deserve it?
Allegations and said she was the true victim.
They hit me 5+ times trying to move me from in front of their car. My body is aching right now.
Riddle demanded she be released from jail.
Do you understand that you could be
Random Lazy Lizards Lounge? Did I tell you good evening, my friend?
I understand
Glad to have you here.
An act of treason by not releasing me from
That's a fun name to say.
At this moment and not releasing me from this prison. Continue to smile. I am the highest up in this room.
Well, after hearing from the victim in just a situation, the judge.
I am the highest up in this room.
Well, she is the highest up in this room. I don't think so. I might be higher than you, ma'am, but.
And that you are committing an act of treason by not releasing me from this courtroom at this moment and not releasing me from this prison. Continue to smile. I am the highest up in this room.
Well, after hearing from the victim and just the whole situation, the judge decided to deny giving her a bond. Riddle must stay in jail until trial. In Miami, Christian Colon, NBC6 News.
I'm the highest up in this room. Continue to smile. I'm the highest up in this room. I love it. I'm gonna steal that. Usually, Avalon, there was a time after I did stand up one time, I was kind of sick, had some lung issues, and I tapped out. I was like, you guys, you go ahead, smoke some more. I'm done. It's happened only once that I can think of. A previously missing Rhode Island woman. Not sure if this story is real because I don't think Rhode Island is real. She was found alive in a parked car.
New tonight, police in Rhode Island say a woman reported missing last week has been found safe and her caregiver was arrested. Cranston police say they found 45-year-old Linda DeLumba in a parked car near
Girl of the Gray, Ponder Monkey.
DeLumba, who is nonverbal, was reported missing last Wednesday. Her caregiver, Roberta Gerard, told officers that DeLumba vanished inside a Burlington coat factory. But investigators say...
Hey, that happens. I've gotten lost inside a Burlington coat factory before. Maybe twice.
Wednesday. Her caregiver, Roberta Gerard, told officers that DeLumba vanished inside a Burlington coat factory. But investigators say surveillance video shows neither of them were at the store. DeLumba was taken to the hospital where she will be evaluated. Gerard faces multiple charges.
What? It really didn't answer any questions. Oh, Girl of the Gray. Like, you missed the craziest story ever in the history of the Troll Patrol, possibly. That's saying something. I don't know. We've done some wild stories. But selling toes that have been regurgitated by dogs, that's a new one to me. Kind of Flash. I mean, I'm in it to do like a fucking entertainment show. It's good for my infotainment show. Some of these news stations do some good reporting, though. We come across it. You've seen it. That time the bikes just appeared out of nowhere, like there was like 3 of them and then a bunch of them came. That was insane. That's one of the coolest things. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this story because, you know, sex work is real work in my mind. Brothels are cool, but Cambridge City Councilor accused of buying sex at a brothel.
A Cambridge City Councilor now accused of being a client of the Boston area brothel. He's the first public figure implicated in the scandal. Thank you for staying with us tonight. I'm Courtney Cole.
And I'm David Wade. Today, a clerk magistrate heard evidence against 11 more men who are accused of being customers of this brothel. WBZ's Christina Rex spent the day in that hearing.
Legalize it.
Just what she's learned about the most high-profile suspects so far.
Paul Toner is a person I've known my entire life.
Current Cambridge City Councilor Paul Toner.
If you film it and put it on OnlyFans, it's perfectly legal.
Is now facing charges.
Loophole.
Sex at a high-end brothel busted by the feds in 2023.
No teacher I know and no union leader I know.
WBZ has interviewed Toner several times over the last 20 years. He's a former head of the Mass Teachers Association and has a wife and 2 children.
He's a man of high character. He loves his family. And
yeah, there's nothing wrong with brothels.
None of us are perfect. He's a hard-working city councilor, and the city of Cambridge is lucky to have him.
11 more so-called Johns are now facing criminal charges after probable cause hearings, including Toner and Dr. James Cusack, a former Mass General oncologist who the hospital says resigned in 2024. Cambridge police say these men paid hundreds of dollars per hour for sex or the girlfriend experience with young Asian women inside Cambridge apartment complexes. Not a single so-called John showed up.
Okay. Young Asian women? Were they trafficked? That's, like, I hate to be, like, stereotypical, but there is an issue, and this is why there needs to be legalized prostitution, so this shit doesn't get driven underground, and I don't have to worry about were these women doing this, you know, of their own volition, or were they trafficked into this country? It's a real problem.
Most just sending their lawyers.
These are mere allegations. All of my clients are presumed innocent under the law.
You should be here enjoying, too, what you deserve.
Their absence infuriated activists who held signs outside court in protest.
People are waking up and they're ordering, like they're ordering food off our menu, and short of door dashing the body.
When you was interacting with your phones trying to get these services, like if these women are a merchandise, they're not.
There will be another dozen or so of these alleged clients back here in court next Friday. Now, just a reminder, these are probable cause hearings. After these hearings is when the clients have actually been charged. They'll be arraigned on those charges later this spring. In Cambridge, Christina Rex, WBZ News.
Like, that's my concern. Like, were these women doing this of their own volition? Were they being trafficked? That determines like what they're. I understand, like, you know, the Johns are kind of paying for the anonymity, and you don't want that. Ivy Faye, welcome in. We're right here at the end of what we call the Troll Patrol. I'm going to stay a little bit longer on stream. We might listen to music. We might watch another episode of Who is America, because that was like insane. I watched it years ago when it came out, but because I smoked so much pot, it was like the first time I watched it, and I freaked out at how, like, they set up a quinceanera. They had fake vagina panties. They set up this quinceanera. They were trying to supposedly attract pedophiles. He had this group of right-wingers that they were going to try to attract pedophiles, but in reality, like, the cops came, and it like this dude's in like a fucking princess outfit with a fake vagina. And he's got like all these poppers and condoms and lube. And it looked like they were trying to attract young girls. And Sacha Baron Cohen is like the mariachi band. He's like, oh, I don't know what's going. I've got a gig in Las Vegas. It was out. Yes, we're gonna watch that show. We're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up the Troll Patrol. We're gonna watch another episode of Who is America, so you can see what I'm talking about. From bad luck to beloved, the Oscar-winning film Flow sparks a surge in black cat adoptions, which I think is amazing. Black cats, long overlooked due to superstition, are gaining newfound appreciation, with more people choosing to adopt them thanks to Flow, the Academy Award-winning animated film that has reshaped perception of these animals. Black cats are gorgeous. I love them. All babies are beautiful. I didn't realize it only had the film trailer in here. Let's get us a video of a black cat here. Stick around, watch Who is America with me. If you're watching on YouTube, checking out the podcast, or watching on one of the other, like Kick, D-Live, all those good platforms, go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol, live.